Well, my name is Selena Sosa, and I am the youth leader here at Bethel Church, and I've been here almost 2 years now.
Thank you. Um, how are you personally altruistic?
Well, I'm always concerned with how someone is doing. I always want the better for other people, especially youth. That's where my heart is. Young women, young men. Um, I really strive to ensure that they're getting the best of what they need, especially if they're open enough to it. Not every child likes an adult to be prying in their business, but just prayerfully and thoughtfully, just kind of taking the time out to see what their needs might be. So
How do you think the church is altruistic?
I think that the church is working towards that. I don't know that we've achieved it 100%, and I think because there has been a lot of change. But in our particular environment, I think in general, on a larger scale, most churches, will do homeless ministries, will really try to reach the community as best as they can so that they know that we're here. So
Do you think altruism is dying worldly?
I do. I really do. I don't think that we have enough people that care enough. I think people have become very selfish and want to um, protect what they have, which is, there's nothing wrong with protecting what you have. I want my kids to have the best of everything. I want my family to have the best of everything. And I'm not talking about materialistically. I want them to have good health. I want them to have good jobs. I want them to live well. You know what I mean? That's essentially, why we're here. However, in the process of that, people lose focus. And when they see someone that's struggling, they immediately go to a blame, like, well, that person's probably lazy, or they don't want to do something. They don't look beyond their actual need. And so, yes, I do feel that it's dying.
Okay. What do you think is the worst aspect of human nature?
Selfishness.
What role do you think empathy plays in the ability to be altruistic?
It plays a very big part because you have to think about how the other person, you have to put yourself in the place of that person. An empathetic person is someone who sits there and sees someone who others might count out because they're rude or, always unhappy or whatever the case might be. And that person sits there and says, I wonder what they went through in their life to make them that way. I wonder what they went through today that they snapped at me. They're always thinking about the other person first.
Have you ever been altruistic and expected something in return?
No.
What do you usually sacrifice in an effort to be altruistic?
My time with my family.
Do you think being altruistic is a conscious thought?
Um, I kind of want to say that it has to, I don't think it comes naturally to everyone. And those that have to think about it, though, they're trying their best. I don't think their intentions are bad, but they may have that element of, well, if I do this, this is the right thing to do. Everybody will see it and I'll get something in return. Like the universe will pay me back. And those that it comes naturally to, they just know that it's just the right thing to do and just keep moving.
What do you think is necessary in order for people to become more giving?
Um, that's a good question. Honestly, I believe most people and those that give the most have been in need the most. And when they get to a place where they're able to give, they want to give because they understand how it is to be hungry or to be without clothing or to be without a home. They understand that better than anyone. And so, for the most part, life experience, I think, helps the person to be more giving.
Who is the most giving person you know and why?
The most, my grandfather. My grandfather will always just, even if he barely has anything, he's always giving something. He makes sacrifices. He's a first generation uh, immigrant. You know what I mean? And he's a citizen of the United States now, but he's worked really hard and he's always thinking about other people and wanting to give. So
What did you want to be as a child?
an oceanographer.
An oceanographer?
Hmm.
And when did you realize that ministry was for you?
Probably into my second or third year of being saved. It was in my early 20s, and we were surrounded by youth that floored us. They would be at the church at 7 a.m. fasting and praying before we even got there for their community, and they were only 14 and 15-year-olds, and they would be crying out unto God for the want of a better life for the people in their community, and that ignited a flame in me. I said, if that child could want that bad, then I want to be able to help them achieve whatever they need to do to be who they need to be so that they can be world changers. So,
What is your goal in life?
to please the Lord first and foremost, and to impact and change as many lives as possible. No one has to know it. I told the Lord, I said, if I die and no one knows my name, I'm okay with that. But if he knows that I've affected 1,000, 100,000, however many people, so long as he knows that, I'm fine. But I want to change people's lives for the better. So,
Who are you a big influence on, and how do you influence them negatively and positively?
I hope I'm a big influence on the youth that I'm surrounded by. Positively, just giving them the encouragement to never back down, to always fight for what they want, not to give in to their environment or to make excuses for where they are. Negatively, I can be hard because I want so much for someone that sometimes I can press a little bit too hard, and that can kind of turn them away. So,
Last question. What would you rather be doing right now?
at this moment,
Yes.
eating. That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.